Welcome back to Pullman this afternoon. We're at Bailey Brayton Field where it's going to be a great day for baseball between Washington State and Seattle U. It's the start of a 5-game homestand for the Washington State Cougars. Welcome inside the booth, everybody. Trevor Williams with you. So glad to have you with us. And it should be fun to watch the Cougars get to work here in the midweek after coming back from Los Angeles a couple days ago. After falling 4-1 on Friday night, the Cougars came back and started quickly on Saturday against UCLA. Joey Kramer there with a knockback up the middle. Then later in the game, as it was starting to spiral out of control for UCLA's pitching staff, the Cougars took advantage of 13 walks and 3 hit batters. Duke Brotherton was great out of the Washington State bullpen. 5 innings of 1-run baseball to keep the Cougars in front the majority of the back of that game. And Washington State was able to get out of there with the win. Trey Cruz down the left field line in the 9th inning, helping give the Cougars the final distance they needed in this one for a 12-5 win. He cleared the bases with a double there in the 9th. On Sunday, Washington State having to fight back from down 4-0 early against UCLA. Cougs allowed a 4 spot in the top half. Kyle Russell, 3 hits. You see one of them there. Cougs do come back in the 4th to tie it at 4, but they fall in the finale of that series by a final score of 9-4. You see the highlights there for the Cougars. They're scoring a lot of runs in non-conference play, which they're back in today. Duke Brotherton, we mentioned, he was tremendous last weekend. The Cougars did beat UC Riverside in the midweek last Wednesday. Defensively, a lot of highlights to go around for Washington State a weekend ago. This is one of the best defensive teams in the Pac-12, and Nathan Choate said he really wants his guys out there making plays. Cole Kramer was doing just that for the Cougars over at the hot corner. You saw one in-between hop. How about another one on Sunday for him? These were big double plays turned by Cole Kramer in each of these 2 games, and the Cougars just continued to rack up the big defensive plays out in right field. Max Hartman making a catch there up against the wall in Los Angeles. The Cougars, you see, the best team in the Pac-12 right now in terms of errors allowed, and they're one of the best in the nation. Seattle U and Washington State coming up this afternoon from Bailey Brayton Field. Our first pitch is coming up next. What's as fine of an afternoon that you'll find in mid-March in Pullman, Washington? The Washington State Cougars welcoming in the Seattle U Redhawks. 2-game midweek set here between regional rivals, Washington State and Seattle U. Trevor Williams and our Pac-12 Plus crew with you. So glad to be with you in Pullman on this 70-degree sunny afternoon on a Tuesday. Not much better than to play a little hooky, get off work early, come watch some baseball. The starting lineup for Seattle U, you see the top 5 in the order for the Redhawks can really turn it for this order, led off there by Cole Kleckner, and then finishing that 5, Derek Gello. So trying to get some more production out of 6 through 9 in this order. The Redhawks coming in 6-12 on the season, 2-4 in Western Athletic Conference play. Up on the mound for Washington State is Rylan Hyder, the right-hander for the Cougars, a 6'2" redshirt freshman out of Olympia and Olympia High School. He's making his 4th appearance, just 2 innings this season. Big opportunity for him on a midweek to log some innings, show what he can do for this Cougar team that's just a day removed from getting back from Los Angeles. Defensively behind Hyder, Washington State looks like this. Kind of usual setup for the Cougars with Kason Taggart in left field. Alan Shibley got a little banged up down in Los Angeles against UCLA. Cougar infielder stays the same. Will Cresswell doing the catching for Hyder here this afternoon. As we're ready for the game's first pitch. And it is hit to left field off the bat of Cole Kleckner. Diving out for it is Kason Taggart in left field to make the catch for out number 1. Good way to start it off in the Cougar outfield. We were talking about the tremendous plays that they have been making this season, and Kason Taggart, LA wasn't his first defensive opportunity after Alan Shibley appeared to have some sort of back injury in game 1 of that series, but now Taggart becoming very used to left field. Jackson Lind for Seattle U in next, taking a strike. Cougs won a game out of the 3-game set at UCLA. A line drive into right field for Lind. This is into the gap, chasing to it in right center, Hartman. And he gets up with it quickly to hold Lind to just a single here for the Redhawks with 1 out in the visitors' first. Seattle U, they were swept by Cal Baptist on the first weekend of conference play. They were down in Texas to face Texas Rio Grande Valley this weekend. They won the first 2 games but fell in the finale 11-0 in 7 innings. First pitch to Sam Kane, just missing. Redhawks coming out swinging early on the Washington State redshirt freshman Rylan Hyder. Kane taking off the lower outside corner. 2-0 there. Utah Tech is the next series coming up for Seattle U. And pardon me, they were not in Texas. They were in Bellevue for that series. Started the year on the road in California in Riverside against Cal Baptist. Mentioned dropping 3 games there. But they have Utah Tech this next weekend coming up in Bellevue, team the Cougars saw at the start of the year. Cougs took a few there at the start of the season. A strike in from Hyder. So Josh Marshall calling balls and strikes this afternoon. Gary DeFabio, Randy Sutton, Daryl Mason, rest of this umpiring crew today. Just fouled off at the plate by Kane, caught a piece of his leg. Kane coming in hitting .296, freshman for Seattle U from Reno, Nevada. Just an excellent afternoon weather-wise. Fans continuing to stream in here. Strike 3 called on the lower outside corner. Rylan Hyder has his first strikeout of his college career. Punches out Sam Kane, looking 2 gone for Seattle U here in the visitors' first. So a strikeout looking for Rylan Hyder. Mateo Zeppieri for Seattle U now with a couple out here in the first. Zeppieri, who's from Canada, Newmarket, Ontario. He's part of this productive top half of the Red Hawk order. Runner on here with a couple out. Hyder trying a breaking ball that misses. Now Rylan Hyder came in the 2 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk. So just posting his first strikeout. And up, forcing Zeppieri to limbo away from it. Two teams that are used to playing each other in the midweek, year in, year out, Seattle U and Washington State. A check swing, And it was held up by Zeppieri. 3-1 now. WSU in this series has won the last 4. Check over on first. Almost got away there from Joey Kramer. Cougs lead the all-time series 22 games to 10. Last year, 8-2 win in Pullman, 11-2 win in Bellevue for the Cougs. Big fly ball, right field side. Chasing to it, Crew Park, the Cougars' second baseman. Long-ranging play that ends up in foul ground. It was a long ways to go for Max Hartman as well. Light breeze pushing it over, foul down that right field line. Zeppieri ended up sliding into second base. All the way over to third on the play was Jackson Lind. He has a hit into right center field here in this game. To start it off, Rylan Hyder trying to get out of the top of the first inning. A nice diving play in left field by Kaysen Taggart, and then Hyder, his first strikeout, got Sam Kane looking last at bat. A payoff pitch coming here. And inside for ball 4. So a walk for Mateo Zeppieri. First and second for the Redhawks. Walks bit the Cougar pitching staff on Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles, where the Cougars had a chance for a series win. Would have been their first in LA against the Bruins since 2002. A couple out, 2 on. Derek Gellos here. First pitch fouled off. And Gellos off to a good start this season. 306 average for the senior. 19 hits, comes in third on the team. 10 runs driven in his second, and he has an opportunity with a runner in scoring position here in the first. Inside half, there's a called second strike. See if Rylan Hyder can pick up his second strikeout here in this young game on Tuesday. Up and in. Hyder trying to work that inside portion of the plate. We'll see how Washington State pitches it. The Cougars didn't have to use a ton of pitchers in Los Angeles. Successful check swing there from Gellos, 2-2. The last game of the series, WSU did have to use Judd Wickersham Grillo down the stretch trying to keep the game tight. But the volume wasn't too much. Another 2-strike pitch here coming from Rylan Hyder. Crew Park over to his right. Tough underhand scoop to get it to Kyle Russell at short, but he does outnumber 3. And the Cougars strand a couple Redhawks there in the top half of the first. Washington State, its first at-bats coming up. Seattle U and WSU here on the midweek on Pac-12+. First inning on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon in Pullman, Washington. Barely a cloud in the sky here at Bailey Brayton Field. And as folks get off work on this Tuesday afternoon, they'll keep flying in here. Batting order for Washington State, really good presence 1 through 9 in this Cougar order. Bottom of the order got on at a great clip in Los Angeles. Cole Kramer was an especially tough out there. Will Cresswell getting the start at catcher, so Jacob Morrow in the DH spot there, 5th. Up against the Cougars, a right-hander, Brady Little, who has struggled a bit this year. You see the numbers there in 8 1/3 innings, 16 earned runs, opponents hitting almost 400 off of him. And defensively behind the Seattle U starter, the Redhawks look like this. Kane, Kleckner, Zeppieri there in the outfield, Gelos, Antonsen, Carr, Hale, and Wagner doing the catching. So Max Hartman to lead it off for Washington State. Takes a swing at the first pitch under the glove of the first baseman, Royce Hale. Into the corner it goes. Hartman's peeking over his shoulder. He'll shut it down at second base with a leadoff double for the Cougars.
Shortstop, number 1, Kyle Russell.
So that took no time for Max Hartman. Double number 5 on the season, couple off Cole Kramer's team leading 7. Kyle Russell up next for the Cougs. Russell a bright spot at the plate for WSU on Sunday against UCLA. It really came at the end of a weekend in which it had been multiple games for Kyle Russell of him hitting balls right at guys. He went 3 for 5 on Sunday. He has hits in 4 of his last 10 at-bats, and now he's up ahead of Brady Little. 2 balls, no strikes. Before that, it was an 0 for 18 stretch for Kyle Russell. But he had a lot of balls that he was just hitting right at guys, and he was delivering a good exit velo off the bat. It was hard hit, squared up line drives, just unfortunately not finding holes. Big swing of the 2-0, and the off-speed pitch got him. Little does average a strikeout per inning coming in. Just trying to miss some barrels. Russell going the opposite way. Starting in right field was Matteo Zeppieri, over his head all the way to the fence. Here comes Max Hartman to score. And the hot hitting continues for Kyle Russell. His 5th hit in his last 11 at-bats. RBI number 7 on the year. And he starts the Cougars off 1-0 here with a pair of doubles in the first. Matteo Zeppieri in right for Seattle U. He started in, few steps like you're taught to do, and that was hard hit the other way. 100 miles an hour off the bat from Kyle Russell. Good line drive once again. First pitch strike to Kaysen Taggart. Taggart with the 20 hits. 3 of them home runs. One of them was on Friday night against UCLA. Just an absolute blast. And here he crushes one to right field. Kaysen Taggart, a home run here in the first. And Washington State takes a 3-0 lead on his 4th home run of the year. He's now driven in 20 as he jumps on Brady Little in Seattle U early, in the Cougs. A couple doubles and a homer have a 3-0 lead here in the home first.
First baseman number 6, Joey Kramer.
Exactly what Washington State wanted to do here in the midweek, announce themselves. Joey Kramer up next. He has good power as well. He takes a pitch that misses. 3 extra base hits to start it for the Cougars. High chopper right side. Carr able to get the throw to first ahead of Joey Kramer. First out. But a 3-0 start for the Cougars here in the home first. Seattle U got a couple on in the top half, but able to work through it was Rylan Hyder. Getting the midweek start for the Cougars, the redshirt freshman. First pitch swinging here for Jacob Morrow, out of play on the first base side. Beer Garden is starting to liven up on this Tuesday afternoon. It's a good afternoon for some day drinking in Pullman. 70 degrees, warmest day so far of the year. A check swing, it's on the ground at second. This will be a little easier play at second for Kellen Carr. Able to run it to the bag and flip it to Royce Hale. So 2 gone now for the Cougars after the 3-0 start. Max Hartman a double, Kyle Russell doubled him in, and then Kason Taggart 2-run home run to right field. Will Cresswell up next for the Cougars. He takes the first pitch in too tight. Big swing here by Cresswell to center field. It's taking back Kleckner, able to make the catch. Just starting onto the warning track there in center. Nice play by Cole Kleckner. Washington State 3 runs, 3 extra base hits. A 2-run bomb for Kason Taggart in the first. And it's 3-0 Cougars as we go to the second here on Pac-12 Plus. Lots of fans here able to take this in t-shirt weather on the Palouse. 3-0, we go to the top of the second inning. Seattle U and Washington State, first of a couple games here in the midweek. Students getting out of class. Coming out, enjoying one of the first fine afternoons in 2024. Rylan Hyder, second inning of work. Starts off missing to Jake Wagner, the catcher for Seattle U. Breaking ball back in there. Wagner, who's a freshman from Texas, Cedar Park, Texas. A couple guys from the state here on the roster for Seattle U. Also out of Texas for the Redhawks, you've got Cameron Dayton, a redshirt senior pitcher utility man out of Round Rock, where the Cougars played earlier this year in the Carbach Classic. Fouled off at the plate there by Wagner. Keep this at bat going. Rylan Hyder getting the midweek start here. 4A State Player of the Year in 2022 at Olympia High School. Won a state title. Here's 1-2 pitch to Wagner. Low and away. First college strikeout in the first inning for Hyder. Just missed. There with the 2-2, counts full. The Bears, Olympia High School, they got a good program. Hyder, a former top 15 prospect in the state of Washington. Fly ball to center field. Nate Swartz just a few steps to his left. 7-pitch at bat, but Hyder gets the fly ball into center field. First man gone for Seattle U here in the top of the second. Royce Hale up next for the Red Hawks. Freshman from Marysville. A lot of the state of Washington, as you would expect on the Seattle U team. First pitch from Hyder just misses. So it's pretty fun for these guys. Grew up playing in circles against one another. Definitely for Hyder out of Olympia. Strike in there. Makes it fun. Guys who have known each other growing up, playing prep ball. Now into the college ranks. Seattle U, historically a really good program. Donnie Harrell in his 15th season with the Red Hawks. Well-coached team. He always has them ready, especially down the stretch of the season into their conference tournament. Western Athletic Conference, they play their games in Bellevue. A nice park, Bannerwood Park there. Another 2-strike pitch from Hyder. Count full again. Back-to-back batters who have worked it full on the Cougar right-hander. Royce Hale trying to get aboard here in the second for Seattle U. He does back up the middle into center field. Hale with his third hit of the season. Third hit of the career for the freshman out of Marysville-Pilchuck High School. A one-out base runner for the Red Hawks here in the second. Trevor Antonsen, Oregonian, who the Cougars have seen a lot over the years. Experienced player at Seattle U, taking strike one. Antonsen is senior. Struggling at the plate right now, though. 8 of 60 to start the year. $133 the average. Takes one for a ball. Antonsen, a graduate student. So it seems like he's been around for forever. 294 hitter last year with 18 extra base hits, including 4 homers. He's now behind a ball and 2 strikes. Last year was also his best fielding year. Playing there in the middle infield for Seattle U. Red Hawks, like the Cougars a couple weeks ago, didn't have any midweek games last week. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Rylan Hyder. The freshman able to get the 5th-year senior for Seattle U. Second strikeout for Hyder. Kellen Carr, the 9-hitter for the Red Hawks, coming up next. Yeah, for Seattle U last week, it was just straight into conference play. WSU had one midweeker last week against UC Riverside down in Southern California. Kellen Carr takes Cresswell, a back pick try, tags not in time. Back over to the bag, Royce Hale. Pitch missed for ball 1. For Seattle U, first game against the Pac-12 this year. 2-0 now to Kellen Carr. Red Hawks have 4 coming up, in Eugene, Oregon at the end of March. Couple midweekers against UW. And then they've got UW and WSU as well, end of April, back at their place. 3-0 here to Kellen Carr, the 9-hitter for the Redhawks. So there will be plenty of opportunities against the Pac-12 for the Seattle U team. Carr getting his 7th start of the season here. Driver's seat in this count with 2 outs. He'll just make sure he sees a strike. If you're just joining us, WSU scored 3 in the first. Max Hartman and Kyle Russell both doubled. Kason Taggart, 2-run home run. A chopper left side. Cole Kramer requires a good throw, cross body. He gets it there in front of Kellen Carr. Another great play at the hot corner for Cole Kramer. He has been a vacuum over on that left side for Washington State. We go to the bottom of the second. It's the Cougars 3, the Redhawks nothing. This is Cougar baseball here this afternoon from Pac-12 Plus. Picturesque day in Pullman, Washington. 3-0 Washington State in the lead. We go to the bottom of the second inning. 7, 8, 9 in the Cougar order to come up. Cole Kramer, Nate Swartz, Crew Park. Cole Kramer just made the defensive play at the end of the top half of the inning, taking ball 1. We showed some of his great double plays that he started up in Los Angeles in today's broadcast open. He's now ahead 2-0. He was also getting on base against UCLA, 5 for 8 in the series. He's ahead 3-0. 5 for 8, all singles, 5 walks as well. Takes a strike here. He's been a great corner infielder for the Cougars. Transfer from Lynn Benton Community College. Brady Little able to come back, work the count full. Only 13 pitches in that 3-run first inning for Brady Little. Cougars were swinging early and often in the first. Cole Kramer, left side, that is through. Past a diving Trevor Antonsen. Kramer's gonna dig for second. He's a sitting duck on the throw. Tag gets him. Big turn, and Cole Kramer, maybe a late decision to continue to try his way to second. He'll get a single before he's hosed on the throw from Sam Kane. 1 gone for Washington State here in the bottom of the second. 3-0 the Cougar lead. Was their 4th hit. Nate Swartz up next. Good job by Sam Kane to stick with the play for the Redhawks. Swartz off the end of the bat. Little able to underhand flip it to first. So quick 2 gone. Brings up Crew Park. He was doing a lot of getting on base out of the 9-hole for the Cougars as well. UCLA was really frustrated with him in Saturday's game, in which they walked him 3 times and hit him another. He drew 4 walks in Los Angeles with a hit. Gets ahead here, ball and no strikes. the senior from Mesa, Arizona, Abilene Christian transfer. Hits it down the right field line. It's tailing away in the corner and into the Seattle U bullpen. 1-1. Abilene Christian is in the Western Athletic Conference, so a guy here in Crew Park that's familiar with Seattle U. Abilene Christian has started the year 4-2 in conference play there in the WAC, 13-8 overall. Now 2-1 to Crew Park. Last year, Abilene Christian was right there with Seattle U in conference record. The two battled for the 4th spot in the conference. Seattle U was able to edge them out by 1 game, 17-13, the conference record for Seattle U last year. 3-1 here to Crew Park. He takes a strike. He thought it was ball 4. Caught that upper portion of the zone. Couple out here, nobody on. Park takes strike 3. Brady Little, his first strikeout of the game. His defense picks him up on the single at the start of the half inning. Comes back, it's a comebacker and a strikeout, and we go to the 3rd. It's Washington State 3, Seattle U nothing. A youngster was just able to beat out Butch, the Washington State mascot, in a steal the base competition at Bailey Brayton Field on a 70-degree Tuesday afternoon in the midweek between Seattle U and Washington State. Fans really taking this in. It's going to cool down a little bit into the weekend. Cole Kleckner, his second at bat, he flew out to left field on a diving play by Kaysen Taggart in the first. Was on the game's first pitch. I think if you ask the Washington State team, they wouldn't mind it being a little cooler on the weekend just to try to make things a little uncomfortable for their visitors from down south. Arizona State down the left field line, but foul. They're off the bat of Kleckner. ASU, after the first couple weekends of conference play, 3-3, 1 game better than Washington State. Good opportunity this next weekend upcoming for the Cougars in conference play. High chopper, Crew Park going to wait on it. Gets the throw there ahead of the speedy Cole Kleckner. Got him by about a step for out number 1. Jackson Lind up next. He has one of Seattle U's 2 hits, a single back in that first inning. Seattle U, as we mentioned, at home this weekend coming up against Utah Tech. Utah Tech, who started 3-3 in the conference, just 5-13 overall. They did take 1 from the Cougars earlier this year. Strike there to Jackson Lind. That was in the season's first series down there in Utah for Washington State. Jammed off the hands, but into left center field over a leaping Kyle Russell. Second hit already here in the first couple innings for Jackson Lind. And a 1-out base runner for Seattle U. Sam Kane up, who was down looking in the first on the first collegiate strikeout for Rylan Hyder. Pitch inside to start him off. Seattle U 3-8 away from home this year. Washington State 3-3 here in Pullman. A strike. 1-1 to Sam Kane. Fastball there from Hyder. It's been around 87 miles an hour this afternoon. Hyder redshirted last year for Washington State. Ground ball through the right side for Sam Kane. Station to station for the Redhawks. They have first and second with one out here in the visitors' third. And they'll bring the tying run to the plate here in the top half of inning number 3. With Mateo Zeppieri coming up, he walked in his first at-bat. Rylan Hyder getting to lengthen it out for the Cougars. Had pitched just a couple innings coming in for this midweek opportunity. He's starting his third inning of work here. Cougs seeing how he fares the second time through the order. Ground ball at second. This might get him out of the third. Park to Russell on to first. Taylor made 4-6-3 double play. And the Cougars erase the couple singles. They go to the bottom half of the third inning. It's 3-0 Washington State. Good 3 frames for Rylan Hyder. There's a crew hard at work behind Bailey Brayton Field. They're working on the new indoor athletic complex for Washington State University. Primarily, folks think of it as a football facility, but it'll be used by all of the outdoor sports. See a lot of steel going up there at the sports complex, the Taylor Sports Complex behind Bailey Brayton Field. Under construction. Max Hartman showing a bunt at strike 1. Kind of adds a little bit of skyline over the first base side at Bailey Brayton Field as well. Ball and a strike. Should be slated for completion before the start of the football season in the fall. Ground ball. Gobbled up this time by Royce Hale. Was down to a left leg. Sliding on it to make the play. His pitcher covering for out number 1. Still Brady Little here for Seattle U in the bottom of the third inning. 3-0 lead for Washington State. Inside that sports complex, you said kind of right over your right shoulder if you're sitting right behind home plate at Washington State. Full 120-yard indoor field. First pitch fouled off by Kyle Russell. It used to be an air-supported structure there. They kind of affectionately in the area called it the bubble. It was privately funded new facility, just under $30 million. Russell able to take one high, 1-1. So it'll be a nice addition to the Washington State athletic facilities here in Pullman. Foul off the leg of Kyle Russell. Of course, here at Bailey Brayton Field, Washington State has one of the premier facilities in the Pac-12 conference. All turf surface. Indoor training facility down the first baseline, indoor operations facility, including locker room, weight room, meeting rooms, coaches' offices down the left field line. Swing and a miss. Kyle Russell tied up on the upper portion of the zone. Couple strikeouts now for Brady Little in the last 3 batters that he's faced. He has retired 4 consecutive Cougars. He's bounced back well after the 3 extra base hits to start the game, pair of doubles and a home run for the Cougars. The home run came from this guy, Kason Taggart, over the right field fence straight away in his first at bat. He'll be started off here, ball and no strikes. Hit it right over the top of, I think it was the John Olerud sign in straightaway right. Olerud, who a couple years back was named Pac-12 Baseball Player of the Century. A phenomenal student athlete at Washington State, 2-way player for the Cougs, and then of course carved out a magnificent major league career. Played with the Seattle Mariners. That's what folks in this region really equate him with. 3-1 now to Taggart. And Nathan Choate, the first-year head coach of Washington State, when he took over here, he said he loves the history of this program. He loved the fact that they had a 2-way Player of the Year award named after a Coug, as Kason Taggart takes a walk. They're on 5 pitches. Earned a bit of respect after his first inning home run to right field. So a 2-out base runner for the Cougars in the bottom of the 3rd, and Joey Kramer up next. John Olerud in that pro career, though, not only did he play for Seattle, he started with Toronto and the New York Mets, notably. Finished late in his career in his mid-30s with New York and Boston, the Yankees and the Red Sox. Move over to first base. Pro hitter, career .295 average. Hit 255 home runs. Averaged about 20 a season. Ball and a strike to Joey Kramer on that pitch, low and away. So definitely one of the greats. WSU trying to do something with a couple outs. Kramer through the left side. Derek Gellos tried to get a glove to it. Antonsen a dive out there deep in the hole as well, but a single for Joey Kramer. And it's first and second with 2 outs now for the Cougars after the walk and the single. And Jacob Morrow will see if he can add to a 3-0 lead for the Cougars. Morrow didn't have the weekend that he wanted in Los Angeles at the plate as he takes strike 1. He had started just so hot for the Cougars, one of the top batting averages in the Pac-12. UCLA was able to calm him down last weekend, though. Couple games down there, he was 0 for 8. So the average came down from 469 to 375 here entering play today. Second at bat for him, he grounded out to second his first time up. Comes up empty there on the breaking pitch. Chance for a 3rd strikeout for Brady Little for Seattle U. Would be about on pace for him. He came in with about a strikeout per inning this year. His 1-2 to the Cougar designated hitter. Taken for strike 3. A fastball at 90 miles an hour that freezes Jacob Morrow. Second batter that Brady Little has gotten looking. Back-to-back innings where he's capped it with a strikeout. And we go to the fourth. Washington State 3, Seattle U nothing. Folks reading between innings here on the Palouse. 3-0, Washington State leading Seattle U. It's not a bad afternoon. Get a little reading in at the ballpark as well. In the sunshine, 70 degrees today. Derek Gellos to lead it off for Seattle U. Taking that first pitch from Rylan Hyder. Now fouling one off. Pitch outside. Rylan Hyder and Ryan Orr, Olympia and Tumwater, they were both committing to Washington State around the same time. Orr, a sophomore reliever the Cougars use a ton. That foul ball down the left field line, 2-2 to Derek Gellos. They committed to WSU, each of them after their sophomore years of high school. Hyder used to play with Orr back in youth baseball. Black Hills. Fly ball to left field. Lifted high in the air for Kason Taggart. Derek Gellos a fly out there into left. And that's how the fourth inning starts for Seattle U. But two guys that they weren't really talking about playing college baseball together, Rylan Hyder and Ryan Orr, but it just worked out that way that Orr committed first, followed by Hyder. A lot of guys connected like that on both rosters. First pitch bounces to the backstop. Jake Wagner, the catcher here, fly out into center field his first time up. WSU with a lot of guys out of the state of California, but still a strong presence in the state of Washington as well. 2-0 to Jake Wagner. Kyle Russell at shortstop for the Cougars from Tacoma, Curtis High School. He's one of the real standout players from the state of Washington for the Cougars. Will Cresswell, the catcher today from Auburn. We're on the west side. And Duke Brotherton, who pitched a big 5 one-run innings against UCLA, also out of this state. A line drive at second, Crew Park. It hopped just short of his glove and picked out by Jacob Kramer at first. Kind of messed up the rhythm of that play for Crew Park. He was about to make the catch and it kind of hopped off the turf to him. Jacob Kramer, or Joey Kramer, pardon me. Nice play over there at first. So 2 gone. Royce Hale now. Hyder looking for a 1-2-3 inning. He's pitched really well here on this Tuesday. 3 2/3 right now, scoreless. Couple strikeouts, 1 walk. Into center field. 5th hit for Seattle U. Royce Hale with his 2nd of the game. He now has a pair of singles. And he's on here with 2 outs in the 4th for the Red Hawks.
Shortstop number 6, Trevor Antonsen.
Bring up Trevor Antonsen. Was the 2nd strikeout for Rylan Hyder. Hyder got him swinging in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. Antonsen, who we've seen in a leadoff role when Seattle U has come through Eastern Washington, taking strike 1. Ground ball left side. That's through for Antonsen. 9th hit of the season. See if that can start to spark the bat for him. 1st and 2nd for Seattle U here with a couple outs. 4 hits now over the last 2 innings for the Red Hawks off of Hyder. But still trying to scratch across that first run today. Kellen Carr up next for Seattle U. Senior from Seattle, Seattle Prep. Tried to check up. He went around at that pitch in the turf from Rylan Hyder. Hale on at 2nd, Antonsen at 1st, both with singles here. Strike 2. Rylan Hyder trying to get Washington State through 4 innings out in the field. His 0-2 pitch is just bounced there. Cresswell able to keep it in front. WSU does have a left-hander working down in the bullpen. Hyder, though, trying to complete 4 innings himself. Now the count's at 2-2 to Kellen Carr. Couple on, 2 outs. There's ball 3. Big opportunity here for Seattle U to put this together with a couple outs. Trying to battle Rylan Hyder. His 2 innings before this were against another Western Athletic Conference school in Utah Tech. His payoff pitch hit right side. Joey Kramer to his pitcher covering. Nice hustle off the mound for Hyder. And he's there as he completes 4 innings here this afternoon on the Palouse. He's got his Cougs out to a 3-0 lead. We're back after this timeout in Pac-12 Plus. Folks taking it in out there in the beer garden at Bailey Brayton Field. Bottom of the fourth inning coming up, 3-0 the Washington State lead. Great afternoon for baseball. Will Cresswell, Cole Kramer, Nate Swartz. 6, 7, 8 in the order for the Cougars in the fourth. Brady Little, like Rylan Hyder on Washington State side, starting his fourth inning of work. And Little has settled down after the Cougars scored all 3 runs on the first 3 batters of the game. They went double-double from Max Hartman and Kyle Russell, then a 2-run home run from Kason Taggart. Launched a mile high into left field by Will Cresswell. And the catch made by Sam Kane. Had to wait for it to come back down out of the stratosphere, out number 1 in the Washington State fourth. Cole Kramer up next for the Cougars. Singled his first time up into left field, but was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Little missing off the lower outside corner. The Issaquah native from Issaquah High School did not pitch last year due to injury for Seattle U. Ground ball left side, backing up Gelos on it. Rifles a throw over to first for out number 2. Good start here in the inning for Brady Little, trying to complete his fourth inning of work. Cole Kramer shaking his head on the way back. Nice throw there from Derek Gelos, the third baseman. Nate Swartz fouling off the first from Little. Little trying to get back into his starting form. Started 13 of 15 2 years ago before his injury. Was 2-6 in 61 innings, 41 strikeouts, only 14 walks. Swartz fouling off the 0-1. Chance for 4 in a row for Brady Little, trying to go 1-2-3 through Washington State here in the fourth. Faced 3 back in the second, but there was a hit with an out. Cole Kramer trying to stretch it into a double. Swartz just foul on the third base side. But Little was a former All-State at Issaquah High School. Former top 50 player in the state of Washington. Gets another ground ball foul. Both pitchers in this one, starting pitchers for these two teams, former prep stars in the Evergreen State. 3-0 Washington State, bottom of the fourth. And just off the lower outside corner, 1-2 to Nate Swartz. Swartz, who stayed with his Cougar team, he was the first recruit in under the previous staff from New Mexico. As a hometown, not a school, Farmington, New Mexico, Piedra Vista High School. Now a senior this year for the Cougars, Nate Swartz. Grounded out back to the mound in his first at-bat. Hits this one past a diving Antonsen into center field. And Swartz has the Cougars' 6th hit of the day, a 2-out base runner in the bottom of the fourth.
Second baseman, number 8.
A luxury for the Cougars to have Cole Kramer, Nate Swartz in the 7-8 spots in the order. They can really rack up the hits for the Cougars. Crew Park up next with a couple out. Park a strikeout looking in his first at-bat. A check over on Nate Swartz, who does have 3 stolen bases for the Cougars this year. Park ripping it down the left field line. This is in fair. Stopped shy of the corner by Sam Kane. Swartz into third. Park scampering to second. He has the Cougars' 4th extra base hit today. And now the Cougars in business with a couple outs on the double from Crew Park, the second of his collegiate time at Washington State. And it's second and third with 2 outs. Couple in scoring position for the top of the Cougar order and Max Hartman. Hartman, who doubled to lead off the game, and Seattle U is going to make a pitching change. They will call for a left-hander as Donnie Harrell out of the dugout for Seattle U. He'll make a change. 3-0 Washington State. Couple in scoring position with 2 outs. Cougs trying to add to their early lead here on Pac-12 Plus. Butch leading the YMCA here in the bottom of the 4th in Pullman. Cougars threatening a couple on, 2 outs. Seattle U turning to a well-used reliever here over the last couple of years. 10th relief appearance on the season for Cameron Dayton already. Dayton is the big left-hander out of Round Rock, Texas. 16 2/3 innings. See the good earned run average, 18 strikeouts to 5 walks. He pitched 25 times out of the bullpen last year for Seattle U. Was a transfer to Seattle U, started his collegiate career at Texas in Austin. He was there via Midland College. Two-way player who hit .291 last year with 13 extra base hits as well. Called on here to try to keep the deficit for Seattle U at 3 runs. Left on left with Max Hartman, who doubled to start the game. Another big swing from Hartman. Tipped into the glove of Jake Wagner, 0-2. In summer league play, all league in the West Coast League for Cameron Dayton, trying to keep it a 3-0 game here. And he comes inside and hits Max Hartman right off the elbow protector on that right arm. So bases full for the Cougars for Kyle Russell, who already has an RBI double today. I wonder if another change is coming here from Seattle U. The only other thing I can think of is if Donnie Harrell's saying that there was no effort by Max Hartman to get out of the way, or saying he leaned into it. The umpires will come together to talk after Josh Marshall was spoken to there. I mean, it was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball that came in straight off the elbow guard. Now, whether or not a player were deemed to have leaned in, would be reviewable. So that's where the umpires are going. They did check in with the Seattle U dugout and said, do you guys want to look at it? I'm assuming that is what is being checked on here. With 2 outs and now the bases loaded for Washington State in the 4th inning. Trevor Williams and our Pac-12 Plus crew with you here on the Palouse. Nathan Choate out of the Washington State dugout on the third base side. He's going to ask for an explanation from Josh Marshall. But it has been indicated right now as a challenge by Seattle U. With the left-hander Cameron Dayton trying to get the Redhawks out of this 4th inning. It was a fast start in the inning for Brady Little, Seattle U's starter, but the Cougars went single-double from Nate Swartz and Crew Park. And for right now, Max Hartman hit by a pitch. Yeah, so hit by pitch calls, they're one of the 14 categories of plays you can challenge in collegiate baseball, and it includes intent of the batter. So it's whether or not a ball touches a batter or his clothing or the batter's intent. There was no doubt that it was right off the elbow guard of Max Hartman, so this review is all about his intent here at the plate. Looks like the umpires have made their decision. Well, let's see. The indication was that it hit his arm and then they signaled that he's out. And that is because it was a 2-strike pitch to Max Hartman. So strike 3, Nathan Choate pleading his case. Cougars leave a couple stranded after the review. And we go to the 5th. It's Washington State 3, Seattle U nothing. Butch partying with the fans here, going top of 5 in Pullman. 3-0 the Washington State lead. Cougs just left an opportunity though. As you see a pitching change for Washington State. Liam Miller, the 6'6 left-hander from Rancho Palos Verdes, California, taking over here in the top of the fifth behind 4 innings from Rylan Hyder. So it's ruled that Max Hartman leaned in to a pitch that hit him, so it's called strike 3 after the review. Rylan Hyder, 4 innings, 6 hits, no runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Cole Kleckner here to start the fifth. Final line on the other side for Brady Little, 3 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts to 1 walk. First pitch, Kleckner into left field, down in front of Kason Taggart to pick it off the turf there. First hit for Kleckner on the afternoon. And Seattle U, a leadoff base runner here in the fifth right away against Liam Miller. That was first pitch left on left to Jackson Lind, strike 1. Jack Lee, Nick Lewis, Spencer Jones, Liam Miller, Giordano Mazzomo, Braden Boyd, and Carson Judd are the lefties for the Cougars. Now, they had less than that on the trip to L.A. Carson Judd, Jack Lee, Spencer Jones as a starter were seen in that series. Liam Miller in the midweek trying to impress as a guy that could be a role left-handed pitcher for the Cougars. His dad played football at Menlo College in California, grandfather a baseball player at Rice in Texas in the 60s. This one bounced in there on the 0-2 to Jackson Lind. Lind, 2 singles in this game already for the Red Hawks. He has 2 of their now 7 hits. And launches one to right field. A chance for his 3rd hit on a home run, but it runs out of room on the track with Max Hartman making the catch for a loud out number 1 here at the top of the 5th. Jackson Lind trying to hit his first home run, but just not quite enough to get it out of here in Pullman. So 1 out. Cole Kleckner aboard a 3-0 Washington State lead. Sam Kane now is 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. And the first pitch up and away from him. On a lot of days in Pullman, that fly ball to right is the way you want to go at Bailey Brayton Field, but not as much breeze today on this kind of perfect 70-degree afternoon. 2-0 to Sam Kane. Kane, who's a freshman, coming out of Reno, Nevada. Trying to avoid a double play ball. Lifts it out of play first base side. Kane went 3 for 11 over the weekend against UT Rio Grande Valley. Drove in a run back on Friday. Takes strike 2 here from Liam Miller. 89 miles an hour there to even up the count. First reliever for the Cougars starts off here in the 5th. Rylan Hyder gave the Cougars a scoreless 4 innings out of the gates. Miller chasing Cole Kleckner back over to the bag here with a 1 out. Big series against St. Mary's a couple weeks back for Sam Kane, where he was 4 for 10. Looking for his 2nd hit today, trying to keep it going. Runner takes off. Another one launched out of play on the first base side, foul. Seattle U looking to get a little hit and run going here in the 5th. Cole Kleckner has great speed over at first base. Saw him almost beat out a ground ball in the 3rd inning. It wasn't hit that slowly at second in the 3rd. It was a good display of base running up the first base line. Both teams with 7 hits. Washington State scored 3 runs on the game's first 3 batters. That's been it so far. Miller again moving to first. And he is laser focused on Kleckner after the hit and run try for Seattle U a pitch ago. A lot of focus from Liam Miller on trying to keep the double play ball in order. Runner goes. It's another hit and run, mile high into center field. Swartz into the shallow depths of center to make the catch for out number 2. It allowed plenty of time for Cole Kleckner to get back as it needed air traffic clearance from the nearby airport here in Pullman before the catch. 2 gone. And Mateo Zeppieri now hit into a double play that ended the 3rd inning for Seattle U. He walked back in the 1st. Zeppieri trying to come through with 2 outs. Swings and misses at the 1st. There from Liam Miller. These are the spots where the Cougars really want to see what Miller has. They want to see him improve against left-handed bats. Like this opportunity against Zeppieri, and there's a couple strikes. Miller spinning off the slider that time. Ahead 0-2, trying to make it 5 scoreless innings for the Cougars. Bounces one. It gets away from Cresswell. Good read by Kleckner. He'll take second. So wild pitch there from Liam Miller. Cole Kleckner is into scoring position with a couple out here at top of inning number 5. Seattle U able to strand a couple Cougars in scoring position last half inning. Now trying to take advantage and get on the board for the first time today. Turned on down the right field line, but tailing foul. Went just past that indoor hitting facility. But well out in front of it was Mateo Zeppieri. Before that last pitch, Liam Miller was shaking signs from Will Cresswell. Would have thought he'd be getting the pitch call out of his pitch comm. Dots up the outside half to Mateo Zeppieri, and Liam Miller winning that left-on-left battle in the top of the 5th to keep Seattle U off the board. WSU has shut out the Red Hawks at the halfway point. The Cougars lead it 3-0. Folks looking to get refreshed in the middle innings. It feels like summertime on the Palouse. Burgers on the grill, bottom of the 5th inning, 3-0 Washington State lead. Kyle Russell, Kason Taggart, Joey Kramer for WSU. Here to start the bottom of the 5th. Staying on the mound, Cameron Dayton. He got the final out in kind of an odd way, to say the least, in the 4th. He hit Max Hartman, but Hartman was ruled to have leaned into it, and then it was strike 3. He's up ahead of Kyle Russell is Cameron Dayton, 0-2. Russell back up the box under the glove of Dayton into center field. Good piece of 2-strike hitting there from Kyle Russell. Second hit of the game. And the Cougars a base runner to start it in the bottom of the 5th inning. So the way you score that, in case you were wondering, in the bottom of the 4th inning for Max Hartman, when he was ruled to have leaned into it, it is a strikeout looking. So Cameron Dayton did get credit for the strikeout. Now with a man on, nobody out, Kason Taggart. Home run for him back in the 1st inning to right field, 2-run shot. Breaking ball never broke back in over the zone. It's 1-0. WSU hasn't scored since that Taggart home run back in the 1st inning. Takes a breaking ball. Catcher Jake Wagoner tried to frame it the best he could. 2-0. Kyle Russell has 3 stolen bases over at first. Move goes that way. Best crowd of the season, no doubt, for Washington State this afternoon. And we expected as much when the guys were in LA and they saw the forecast coming back. A lot of excitement. It's nicer today in Pullman than it was any of the 3 days in LA. LA wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination weather-wise. It was upper 60s all 3 games. Strike into Kason Taggart, but there's always something a little bit different here as the wheat fields, the winter wheat starts to turn to green. You get days like this, summertime right around the corner. Kyle Russell still being held close. He's on via his 2nd hit of the day. Taggart's home run in the 1st inning was his 4th of the season. He and Joey Kramer now each have 4. Joey Kramer's on deck. Taggart almost over the 3rd base bag. It was just left of it. So count goes full to Kason Taggart. Nobody out here, bottom of inning number 5. Cameron Dayton, the 2nd pitcher for Seattle U. Starter Brady Little made it 3 2/3. Breaking ball inside. It doesn't matter on the throw to second with Kyle Russell taking off. Back-to-back walks for Kason Taggart. 1st and 2nd with nobody out for Washington State. Joey Kramer will have a chance to take that home run lead back from Kason Taggart. Kramer, last time he was at home, last Sunday against Utah, destroyed a baseball to straightaway center field. Throw behind to keep Kyle Russell near 2nd. Seattle U aware that the Cougars will put a play on, try to get guys into scoring position, but it's hard to offer up Joey Kramer as the sacrifice the way he swings the bat. He ends up taking a pitch low for ball 1. The average now stands at 324 for Joey Kramer after his hit earlier. 24 hits. Just a few behind Max Hartman, who's at 28 now. Cole Kramer has 25. These three have been knocking the ball around the yard. A strike taken by Joey Kramer. And WSU close in a lot of its early Pac-12 games. Couple one-run losses at home to Utah last week, or 2 weeks ago. The last home weekend for WSU. Kramer takes on the breaking ball. Spun off well by Cameron Dayton for strike 2. Kyle Russell on via single here in the 5th. Kaysen Taggart walked. Kramer protecting the outside half of the plate. Still 1-2. Eight hits now for Wazoo, but they have left a couple runners on each of the last 2 innings. Another one here on the way to Joey Kramer. He's able to take it low and away. 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Cougs just got a scoreless top half from left-hander Liam Miller. Finished it with a strikeout. Another turnaround at second. Kyle Russell was already close to the bag. WSU bullpen is calm. It would appear Liam Miller might get a look at a second inning. He's got another left-hander coming up. Big swing and a miss for Joey Kramer. Was tempted on the upper half by the breaking ball. Strikeout number 2 for Cameron Dayton in relief. 1 gone for Washington State in the home 5th. So Jacob Morrow will try to break an 0 for 10 stretch since the start of last weekend's Pac-12 series at UCLA. Runners go. It's hit on the ground. It's short. This will keep the Cougars out of the double play. Antonsen has to come up and throw to first with it. Otherwise, it was going to be just a perfect opportunity for 2 for Seattle U. It's now 2 gone. Kyle Russell moves up to 3rd. Kaysen Taggart to 2nd. So 2 in scoring position for Will Cresswell. WSU was in this spot with 2 outs last inning, too, before Max Hartman was ruled to have leaned into a pitch. It really didn't seem like a fair call to Hartman as Cresswell takes a strike. I mean, it was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Cameron Dayton, the first batter that he faced out of the bullpen. It didn't look like Hartman leaned in. He didn't try to jump way out of the way either. Strike 2 to Cresswell. But the pitch was well in tight on the elbow of Hartman, hit off an elbow protector. Chance for Dayton, though, to finish back-to-back innings with strikeouts then. He's trying to strand WSU's 5th and 6th runners today. He'll do just that on a ground ball to second base. Kellen Carr with the throw over to first. And at the end of 5, Seattle U keeping it as close as it was after 1. 3-0, the Washington State lead. They got it via 2 doubles in the first and a Kaysen Taggart home run. Nothing since as we go to the 6th, game 1 of this 2-game midweek set on Pac-12+. Start of the 6th inning coming up next. It's 3-0 Washington State on the Palouse. All three of those Cougar runs coming in the first. Both pitching staffs doing well here to start off the midweek. Derek Gellos, Jake Wagner, Royce Hale for Seattle U. First pitch, a strike to Gellos, the third baseman for the Redhawks. Liam Miller working his second inning now in relief for the Cougars. Looking to post a couple strong innings here and try to get in line for a potential victory down the road in this game. Rylan Hyder going the 4 innings at the start. Two and one now to Derek Gellos, the Seattle U leadoff man in the 6th. Miller a strikeout to end the top of the 5th. Gets a second strike into Gellos. First batter that faced Liam Miller singled on him, and then he got a fly out to right, fly out to center, a strikeout looking. Now his 2-strike pitch. In tight, having to lean away from it, Gellos. Miller and Kaysen Taggart, they're the tallest players for the Cougars. Both stand at 6'6". The southpaw working here with the payoff pitch. And grounded right side, couple hops to Crew Park. Out number 1. Brings up Jake Wagner, who's 0 for 2. Miller has retired 4 in a row out of the bullpen. Second appearance of the season for Miller. Went 2/3 of an inning against Utah Tech, a rough one. Gave up 6 runs all earned on 6 hits. Having a much steadier outing on this Tuesday for the Cougars. Missing low with ball 1 to Wagner. Last year, Miller 3 appearances. Did pitch in Pac-12 play against USC in an inning of work. Down in Los Angeles, fly ball to right field, pacing back to his left with it is Max Hartman. And Hartman lost the ball on the transfer. It fell after the catch, but it was already ruled to have been caught there in right field. 2 gone. It's a reviewable play, but no argument from Seattle U. 2 away here, top of the 6th. And Royce Hale coming up for the Redhawks. Already a couple hits in this game, 2 singles. Miller missing. Liam Miller last year also pitched in the middle of March, right around this time, almost exactly a year ago against Gonzaga. They pitched against Linfield at the end of March last year. That was the last time the Cougars saw him last season down the stretch. 2-0 here to Royce Hale. In California, he was a former all-league player. As you can imagine, at 6'6", he also played basketball. Ground ball to shortstop Kyle Russell, who will have the play to first, no trouble. And a 1-2-3 inning for Liam Miller in the top of the 6th. Out of the bullpen, he's now retired 6 in a row. His Cougars going to the bottom half, lead at 3-0.
baseman number 32.
Bottom third of the Washington State order due up in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-0 WSU. Cole Kramer against Cameron Dayton. Dayton has come out throwing strikes. He's retired 4 of the 6 that he's faced. Got out of trouble after a single and a walk to start last inning. Came back with a strikeout, 2 groundouts. And he's forged ahead of Cole Kramer here, 0-2 in the Cougar 6th. 2 strikeouts to Cameron Dayton's credit. He misses low and in. Dayton's 2-strike pitch. Outside. Kramer singled in the second, but he was thrown out trying to run to second. Kind of an awkward decision around first for him. Chop foul. He took kind of the big turn, and then it seemed like he felt like he was committed and just had to keep going. He was out by a few steps at second base. Outside for ball 3. Count full here to Cole Kramer. Leadoff man for WSU in the 6th. Cougars scored all of their runs back in the first inning this afternoon. Cameron Dayton trying to get his 3rd strikeout. Instead, it's through the left side on the ground for Cole Kramer, his 2nd hit of the game. They'll shut it down at first base. Leadoff single here in the 6th for WSU. Hit number 9 for the Cougars. Spread them out here in the order. Everybody except for Jacob Morrow and Will Cresswell with a hit today, at least one. Now Cole Kramer joins Kyle Russell. They each have multiple hits, 2 here in this game. Kramer back over to first. Nate Swartz is in at the right side. Dayton looking right across at the runner. The pitch bounding low and in on the bunt attempt, pulled back by Nate Swartz. Swartz a single in his last at bat. WSU with 4 extra base hits in the game. They started with 3 consecutive in the first. Swartz fouling off the 1-0. Doubles for Max Hartman and Kyle Russell, followed by Kason Taggart's 2-run home run, number 4 on the season for him. Now time for the 1-1 pitch. Noah check over to first. Cougs avoided a double play last inning by having runners in motion. In the at-bat for Jacob Morrow. Now it's the 1-1 pitch. Low and in. Cameron Dayton trying to work it with that slider. He's been trying to bear down and in on the lower inside corner on Nate Swartz here in the 6th. And now just missing off the lower outside corner. It's 3-1. Was right around the zone there for Cameron Dayton. Nate Swartz, bottom of this Cougar order, trying to set the table. Hits it in the air to right center field with some carry, but it'll be shy of the warning track for the catch by Matteo Zeppieri out of right field. 1 gone for WSU in the 6th. Not as much wind to straightaway right as early in the season. which the fans appreciate it. Just a light breeze on this warm night. Crew Park up next. Doubled his last time up down the left field line. Park against a Seattle U team that he saw in conference action last year pulls back a bunt, and it's ball one. Back when Crew Park was at Abilene Christian. Before that, Chandler Gilbert Community College. Runner goes, Park fouls it off. So Cole Kramer headed back over to first. Crew Park is from Mesa, Arizona, to the southeast of Phoenix. You'll see one of those Arizona schools come up this next weekend. Arizona State in town to take on Washington State on the weekend. 4 o'clock on Friday, 2 o'clock on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday. Park fouls another one, this time over the first base side, 1-2. Then next week, another regional midweeker for WSU at Portland, and then they have a big rivalry series to cap the month of March on Montlake at Husky Ballpark against Washington. The 2-strike offering will be delayed on a check over to first. Cougs here at home, first of 5 before they hit the road for 8 straight. 2 conference series at Washington and Stanford. Portland on the front end, Gonzaga on the back end. But the way this schedule works out for WSU, they hope to be playing a lot of games on nights like this. As down the stretch in the season, the Cougars will have 7 of their final 10 in Pullman. Oregon State, Portland, USC in that stretch in May. A week before that, 4 straight, Gonzaga and Fresno State. So it works out for the Cougars to be, what would that be? Not a math major, folks. 11 of their final 15 at home. Into left field, a base hit for Crew Park. Good at bat for him. Able to foul off a 2-strike pitch, see a ball, and then into left field for his second hit. And it's first and second for the Cougars with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, a 3-0 lead. They're trying to get to Cameron Dayton after he had retired 3 in a row to cap the 5th. Left on left would be coming up for Max Hartman. A timeout called first by Carter Capps out of the Seattle U dugouts. If that name sounds familiar and you're a baseball fan in the Northwest, it's because he used to pitch professionally and he was in the Mariners organization. Pitched for Seattle, Miami, San Diego in his major league career. 129 relief appearances, a 4.21 ERA. He retired in 2018. He's from Kinston, North Carolina. Pitched collegiately Division II in Mount Olive. That is out there back east. Actually owned the first no-hitter in 9 innings in his school's history. But this is the second year for, or pardon me, this is the 3rd year for Carter Capps at Seattle U. Couple on, 1 out. And now to Max Hartman. Bounces, gets away from Jake Wagoner, but he's able to keep it close on the 3rd baseline. He was moving with that ball towards the throw he would make to try to get the lead runner, Cole Kramer, so everybody stays put. Hartman the double back in the first inning. Takes on the outside half for a strike, 1-1. Cameron Dayton trying to find a way to get Seattle U through 6 on a pair of pitchers. WSU has used Rylan Hyder and Liam Miller for 6 shutout innings so far. And strike 2 to Max Hartman. Cameron Dayton is up around 40 pitches now. Hartman hits it right side. Throw goes to second. Back half of the play. Gets away past Dayton covering. Racing from third to score is Cole Kramer. There was no need for the throw back to first with the speed of Hartman. Seattle U had decided to take the runner at second. Crew Park, they got it there. Fielder's choice, but then a throwing error. E6 to score Cole Kramer. It's 4-0 Washington State. With 2 outs, Kyle Russell stands in. Now just a runner at first and Max Hartman for the Cougars, but a 4-0 lead after the first error of the game. First pitch swinging for Russell into the right center field gap. It's outpacing the right fielder, Zeppieri, off his glove, racing around third, Max Hartman. It's 5-0 Washington State. On the second RBI double of the game for Kyle Russell, and the Cougars have a pair here in the 6th to expand their lead.
Left fielder number 25, Jason Taggart.
Nearly running it down in the right center field gap, Matteo Zeppieri. And it was just off his glove. So 5-0 Cougars and strike 1 to Kason Taggart. Kyle Russell now has 2 driven in. Kason Taggart had 2 on his home run earlier. Way back in the first inning, his 4th home run of the season. Takes another pitch. This time it's ruled outside the zone, 1-1. So 3 in the first, 2 in the 6th now mark the Washington State lead. 2-1 to Kason Taggart. He's walked in each of his last 2 at-bats after the home run. Kyle Russell 3 for 4 in this game. Back-to-back 3-hit games for Russell, who is starting to heat up big time for the Cougars. 3-1 now to Kason Taggart. Well, the video feed cut out there on our center field camera for a moment. We'll get back to it with you. 3-1 coming up here. A check swing. Goes foul there on the third base side. Lots of Cougars in that dugout, the full roster here at home. A couple midweek games between Washington State and Seattle U. Time up on the mound for Cameron Dayton, trying to get through the 6th inning. Couple runs have scored. And now a ball smashed to right center by Kason Taggart. He's got his 2nd home run of the day. A no-doubt shot to right center for Kason Taggart. 2-home run afternoon on the Palouse. He's driven in 4, and the Cougars lead it 7-0 on the 428-foot home run to right center. His 5th of the season as he takes the Cougar lead in home runs. and just jumped out on that pitch. Seattle U will make a change as the pitch count rising for Cameron Dayton. Cougars get to him here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 home runs now for Kason Taggart. And the Cougs have a 7-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th on Pac-12 Plus. New right-hander for Seattle U is Blake Smith, the sophomore out of Shelton, Washington. Tumwater High School, we were talking earlier about Ryan Orr for the Cougars, pitched at the same high school as Blake Smith. They're the same year in school, former teammates there in Tumwater. You saw the numbers. Smith for Seattle U, 6th game of the year. He was a starter in 5 games before this one. He pitches outside to Joey Kramer, ball and no strikes. Cougars with a 4 spot here in the bottom of the 6th. Kason Taggart just obliterated a baseball to right center field, a 2nd home run of the game to make it 7-0 Cougars. 2-0 to start off Joey Kramer, who's 1 for 3, singled back in the 3rd. Kramer took a big cut at it. 90 miles an hour on the fastball. It's a pretty easy 90 for Blake Smith. Got some of the best velocity we've seen today. Swing and a miss. Smith coming back and missing the barrel a couple times here to Joey Kramer. Looking for out number 3 in the bottom of the 6th with the bases now empty. And almost had it on the lower outside corner, just missed. They're trying to break it off the outside edge. Count full. Joey Kramer's now been passed up in the home run total. Kason Taggart hitting his 4th and 5th. Kramer has 4. Hits it left side. Antonsen, nice backhanded play. Able to throw to first to get Kramer for out number 3. Cougars do strike for 4. They get it courtesy of Kyle Russell on a big double to right center field. And Kason Taggart, his 2nd home run of the game. It's 7-0 Cougs after 6. Andrew Bond takes over for WSU in the top of the 7th. He needs some work. He's a regular pitcher for the Cougars, but he only threw 10 pitches last week, 9 at UC Riverside, 1 at UCLA. Tallied a total of an inning last week, 6 innings on the year, 3 strikeouts to 6 walks. He's trying to get it dialed in. He was really tough at the start of his WSU career. Last season kind of burst onto the scene. Previous to that, he was at College of Southern Idaho, where he was an all-region pitcher there. His older brother playing baseball at Central Oklahoma. Here he comes in to face Trevor Antonsen, Kellen Carr, Cole Kleckner for Seattle U. First pitch misses low to Antonsen. Cougs with 4 runs, all scored there in the bottom of the 6th with a couple outs. Swing and a miss by Antonsen. Tried to hold back, still cut through it. Kyle Russell driving in a couple. Ball fouled out of play. Russell with the double, 3 hits for him in the game. Then the home run for Kaysen Taggart. Second home run of the game. He had a shot earlier on as well. This is hit well to left field. Taggart racing back on it, looking up, and it's gone for Trevor Antonsen. His last time up a single, now a home run to left field. Number 1 on the season, and it had been a slow start at the plate this year for the Seattle U shortstop, but he's turning it around with that home run off of Andrew Bond. First run of the game for the Redhawks. As it'll go to Kellen Carr next. So Trevor Antonsen putting a tally on the board for Seattle U. Now first pitch swinging a grounder into the shallow outfield, and Crew Park unable to hang with it. Kellen Carr aboard on what's likely to be the first error here of the afternoon for WSU. It is indeed an E4, and back to the top of the order for Cole Kleckner. So Seattle U starting with a little something here against Andrew Bond out of the Cougar bullpen in the visitors' 7th. First pitch inside half. There's a strike to Kleckner. Cole Kramer's up on the third base side. Ball back up the middle. Hopping just left of second. Another hit for Kleckner. There's his second in a row in these last 2 plate appearances. And Seattle U, the home run, an error, now a single, and they've got first and second, nobody out. They're on the board and threatening a little bit against Andrew Bond. Bond, who's backing up Leon Miller, who went 2 scoreless innings, allowing 1 hit, and he had a strikeout on 28 pitches. Bond checking the runners. Now a high chopper left side. This will be a tough play. Cole Kramer lets it go. A rocket to first in time with a good stretch from Joey Kramer over there. Kramer to Kramer for out number 1. The Seattle U runners move up. Kellen Carr to third. Cole Kleckner to second. So a couple in scoring position, but I didn't know on that high chop left side if Cole Kramer was going to have it in him to get it to first in time. I should never have doubted him after all the fantastic plays we've seen him make early in the year. Sam Kane seeing ball 1 low and away in the turf. Still a big opportunity here for Kane with a couple in scoring position. Kane, who came in the team leader with 15 runs driven in. Rips one to left field with some boost over the head of Taggart. It hops high off the fence. 2 will score for Seattle U. Both Carr and Kleckner on a 2 RBI double for Sam Kane. Barreled up at 106 off the bat. Second hit for Kane. Ribby's 16 and 17, and Nathan Choate out of the Washington State dugout. The first-year headman who makes all of the visits for WSU. It's the coach that really handles everything pitching for the Cougars. Pitching specialist throughout his assistant coaching career before getting the head job at Loyola Marymount prior to becoming the Washington State head coach late last spring. Seattle U with 3 runs on the board here. Home run for Trevor Antonsen and Kellen Carr. Cole Kleckner. Carr reached on an error. Kleckner, who singled, both scored on Sam Kane's double over the head of Kason Taggart and left. So 7-3 now. Another in scoring position with 1 out, and Matteo Zeppieri up at the plate, 0 for 2 with a walk. Trying to get Seattle U back into this game here, starting the back third, and the pitch is low. Rough go of it right now here at the start of 2024 for Andrew Bond. A swing and a miss, though, elicited from Zeppieri. Bond, who had a good week last week in his inning of work, just 1 hit. Pitch gets away from Will Cresswell. Couldn't pick it up there in the shadows in front of home plate as he was looking around first out in front of him, and it was already away to the third base side. So now a 4th run for Seattle U is 90 feet away, and the Redhawks trying to take advantage of some miscues here. They did first on the error that allowed Kellen Carr aboard. It could be 2 outs right now. Now a wild pitch allowing Sam Kane up to third base. Matteo Zeppieri in a good count for Seattle U. Blocked by Cresswell, 3-1. But Bond, prior to last week, he gave up a run to TCU, 2 against Texas State without an out, a run to Kentucky in an inning and a third. The ERA's just ballooned on him. Swing and a miss. Counts full now, 3-2. 2 of the 3 runs so far are earned here in the 7th for Seattle U. They're within 4, trying to get within 3. Payoff pitch knocked back up the middle by Matteo Zeppieri. And Seattle U is struck for 4, answering Washington State's 4 spot in the 6th. The Redhawks right back into this one now at 7-4. Sam Kane scores from third. Andrew Bond, his afternoon will be done. Seattle U answering with 4 runs here in the top of the 7th inning prior to the stretch. WSU into the bullpen for a 3rd time. Redhawks back in it, looking for more here with 1 out in the top of the 7th. Midweek baseball here this afternoon on Pac-12+. All right, a couple things to clear up here as you see Carson Judd, left-hander for the Cougars, taking the mound now with a man on, one out. It was Brandon Stinnett, in the spot of Kellen Carr in the ninth spot. It reached via the air, later came to score. Jackson Reed just delivered the RBI single for Seattle U, and first pitch driven by Derek Gellos back into center field. First and second for the Redhawks, who have caught fire here in the seventh. Jackson Reed pushed to second base. So he just delivered the RBI that chased Andrew Bond from the game. And Jake Wagoner, the catcher, back up. So a couple on, one out, but those were the changes for Seattle U. We missed them coming in. A swing and a miss by Jake Wagoner, 0-1. Now both teams with 12 hits, 1 error. Tying run at the plate for Seattle U. And inside. It felt like the 4-run bottom of the 6th for the Cougars was maybe going to propel them to a runaway in the late innings. Big kudos to Seattle U coming up here in the top of the 7th. They needed a big inning answer, and they've gotten it with a chance for more. Another one blocked by Cresswell, but Wagner's now ahead 2-1. He's the 8th hitter here in the inning for Seattle U. Seattle U will have a change coming up next as well. Ryan Hayes. Big swing on the upper half. Jake Wagner wanted to tie this game up. The fastball past him. Now it's 2-2. Jackson Reed on at second. Derek Gellos at first. 2-strike pitch. Fouled off to the Red Hawk dugout. Wagner 0 for 3 today. Ground ball at short. Cougs needed this. Russell to Park on to first in time. Seattle U will challenge. So hold the phone here, top of 7 for now. It ends a 4-run scoring top half for the Redhawks. But we will wait on what has been ruled right now, a 6-4-3 double play. For this moment, we will step aside while the umpires review it. We'll come back. We'll get you the decision here in the top of the 7th. It's now Washington State 7, Seattle U 4. umpire's coming out here, and it is safe at first base. So no double play. A fielder's choice, 6-4 for out number 2. Top of the 7th will continue for Seattle U. They have corner runners now. Jackson Reed at third. And this is Ryan Hayes, who already entered earlier in the game, and at bat earlier, last inning in the 6th, the 1-2-3 inning. So my apologies, not my best work at tracking subs in here this afternoon. 9th batter to the plate for Seattle U. Couple checks over there on first. Hayes in search of his first hit. Senior from Bothell, Yakima Valley Community College. Nearly the Cougars had Jackson Reed off the bag at third. Carson Judd here working top of 7. Cougars thought they had a double play that would have gotten it to the stretch. Foul ball back on the first delivery home to Ryan Hayes. Yakima Valley Community College, where Hayes transferred to Seattle U from before he came here to Seattle U. They're a good program out of the NWAC. Down the left field line, a foul ball emphatically called by Daryl Mason there down the third base line. That was going to give Seattle U a chance to get within 1 at 7-6 and make this a 6-run inning. But Daryl Mason able to pivot around quickly and make that call. Saw it left of the stripe, 0-2, first and third. Pitch way up high. Cresswell able to extend to keep it from getting away to the backstop. Big answer here, top of 7 by Seattle U. It was a 7-0 Washington State lead after 6. Pitch out. So it looked that way. Will Cresswell was set up from the start there. Runner at first is Jake Wagoner. Jackson Reed at third. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss in the turf. Will Cresswell will pick it out. Carson Judd gets the strikeout. It took a little bit extra for the Cougars as they thought they had a double play to get out of the inning. All told, Seattle U brings 9 to the plate. They strike for 4. They're right back in this one here in the back third. Time to stretch in Pullman. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up. Seattle U, big answer. Both teams hanging big numbers here in the last couple half innings. It will be Jacob Morrow, Will Cresswell, Cole Kramer due up for WSU in the bottom of the 7th. Seattle U has a new pitcher, Matt Roat, junior right-hander from Los Gatos, California. Prior to Seattle U was at Mission College. 0-3 record this year in those 7 innings.
Number 12, Jacob Morrow.
In the field now for the Redhawks, it is Jackson Reed in right field, Brandon Stinnett at second base. First pitch finds the outside half of the dish to Jacob Morrow. The other change in the batting order for Seattle U that was earlier, Ryan Hayes, he is still at first base. But we didn't point him out just a little while ago. 1-1 to Jacob Morrow. In tight. Morrow 0 for 3. He's now 0 for his last 11. But he gets ahead here, 3 balls and a strike. 0 for 11 since starting the weekend at UCLA, and the top 5 in batting average in the Pac-12. Fouls it off his left foot. This will be a full-on battle now. First of 2 games between Washington State and Seattle U here this week. They'll meet later this year. The payoff. Launched down the left field line by Morrow. Able to jump for it at the end is Sam Kane. Tracking it there in left. Got a little bunny hop to make the catch for out number 1.
Will Cresswell.
2 o'clock tomorrow, first pitch. Doug Taylor will be in for the call here on Pac-12 Plus. Will Cresswell to bat next for WSU with 1 out. First pitch runs inside and it hits Cresswell. Earlier, a hit batter for the Cougars back in the 4th inning resulted in the final out of the inning when it was ruled Max Hartman leaned in. No argument from Seattle U this time. 1 out base runner for WSU, leading by 3, 7-4. The other meeting these teams will have over on the west side of the state in Bellevue will be at the end of April. A noon start scheduled there. First pitch swinging past Brandon Stinnett, the second baseman. Barreling around second goes Will Cresswell. Head first slide, he's safe at third, and the Cougars have corner runners with 1 out. Cole Kramer, no time wasted on that hit past second. 3rd hit of the game for Cole Kramer. And 1st and 3rd with 1 out for the Cougars now. And Nate Swartz, who's 1 for 3, with a chance to try to cash it in for the Cougars. Matt Roat got a line out into left field, but now a hit batter and a single. Here's his pitch to Swartz, and it's up high for ball 1. So both Cole Kramer and Kyle Russell with 3 for 4 afternoons. Carter Capps back out of the dugout for Seattle U. The former big leaguer now has got a sweatshirt on and trying to settle down Matt Roat here out of the bullpen. Whitecaps after his professional career, staying there in the Seattle area, where he pitched for the Seattle Mariners. Roat, his last time out against Cal Baptist, 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 2 runs. Trying to avoid the Cougars coming to score against him here in the 7th with an out and corner runners. Swartz goes the other way into right field. He'll sit this down for a base hit that scores Will Cresswell. And WSU, another run to their tally. 8-4 the lead in the bottom of the 7th. And a chance for more here still with 1 out. Swartz' second hit, his first run driven in this game today. Plenty of hits to go around for the Cougars. They've now had 14 in the game. The hit batter Cresswell able to come around to score. First pitch to Crew Park, and it's called strike 1. Score was stuck at 3-0 until the bottom of the 6th. And now the scoreboard operator busy here, back third of this game. Strike 2 to Crew Park. Park is 2 for 3, doubled in the 4th, singled in the 6th. Matt Roat the pitch. Park lifts it out of play, first base side. Eight, 4 Cougars now in the 7th. Dancing off second, Cole Kramer. Runners go other way for Crew Park. This will get down in right field. Cole Kramer with the head start. No trouble around third. Comes to score. Make it 9-4 Washington State. Third hit for Crew Park here, all in successive at-bats.
Number 23, Max Hartman.
Over to third base on the play, Nate Swartz. Crew Park 3 for 4, a double, 2 hits. Mighty happy they're looking back at the Cougar dugout. And top of the Cougar order now, chance to do some more damage in the 7th as the scoring is opened up here in the midweek. First pitch missing to Max Hartman. 27 combined hits now between these two teams. 15 of them on Washington State's side. Seattle U just had a big 5-hit, 4-run top of the 7th. The 1-0 gets away from the catcher Wagner. It'll move Crew Park from first to second. Nate Swartz going to stay put over there at third. Wasn't far enough away for him to break to the plate. Two in scoring position now. And a 2-0 count to Max Hartman, the top of the Cougar order. He's 1 for 4 in this game. Infield in for Seattle U. 3 infielders to the right of second. A strike to Hartman. So not a sight to see if you're a pro baseball fan. You don't see 3 to the right of second anymore pre-pitch. Swing and a miss. Matt Roat coming back here with a couple strikes. WSU in this inning, though, 2 runs already. 4 straight have reached. Second and third, the runners. The pitch to Hartman. Chopped left side of the infield. It'll be no play. Well, a throw, but no chance to get Hartman. Drives in Nate Swartz, who is charging home from third. The high chopper just left Seattle U with no chance there on the infield with Max Hartman running well out of the left side of the plate. He'll get the infield single. Crew Park to third. 10-4 Washington State now. Hartman adding an RBI now to his couple runs scored in this game. And Kyle Russell up next. First pitch swinging through the left side. He keeps the train chugging down the tracks. Fourth hit for Kyle Russell, scores Crew Park. And WSU now back to a 7-run lead at 11-4. 4 runs driven in for Kyle Russell in the game tonight. And still just 1 out for Washington State. Seattle U going to make a change here in the 7th. Donnie Harrell out to get Matt Roat into the pen. Again go the Red Hawks. Back to a 7-run lead for Washington State. It's now 11-4. New pitcher for Seattle U is Caden Alberghini. Older brother Kai used to play for Seattle U, has graduated since. So if you recognize that Alberghini family name, that's why. Last year, 16 appearances. Got a win against Grand Canyon in April. The Cougars saw him for an inning last year on April the 12th. They had 2 hits, 4 runs off of him. 9 innings, 1-0, 7-run ERA, 6 strikeouts to 6 walks this year for Caden Alberghini. Kason Taggart is up next. He has 2 home runs here in the game today. Both 2-run shots. One just over the John Olerud retired number 18 in right field. The other a no doubt shot to right center. First pitch, Taggart sees it low. So 2 home runs for Kason Taggart. Couple on the 1-0 pitch. Up high, 2 balls, no strikes. Runner at second is Max Hartman. There on an RBI single. Kyle Russell, RBI single at first. 2-0 fouled off by Taggart. He was going to get a good pitch to hit there. There are some great Cougar hitters who have delivered 2 home run games in their careers. Couple on here with 1 out. Taggart seeing it low for ball 3. Remember, he's already walked twice in this, so he would have a chance for another. But the last time the Cougars had an individual with 2 home runs, it was Jacob McKeon last May, who's now on the staff, kind of an assisting role. 3-1, lofted way out of play down the left field line. McKeon's official title is a student manager around the program, who has interest in strength coaching as well, and he's working, I think, on more schooling, so I'm studying at the hotel in Los Angeles. Last Cougar to hit 3 was Jason Grove against New Mexico State in 1999. And we'll have to wait to see if Kason Taggart would get another shot at that, as he's down looking on the lower outside corner. He thought he had walk number 3. 2 gone now for the Cougars. A strikeout out of the bullpen for Caden Alberghini. Good welcome to the ballgame for him to strike out Kason Taggart, who had a couple home runs tonight already. Joey Kramer will complete a full trip through the order for WSU in the 7th. Kramer 1 for 4, a single in the 3rd inning. Cougs 4 runs each of the last 2 innings. Seattle U just had 4 in the top half, but a lengthy answer here from WSU. A 5-hit inning for the Cougars, taking their game total up to 17. Fouled straight back by Joey Kramer, 0-2. WSU was double-digit in runs this tally of 11 last week at UC Riverside as well. Two on here, 2 out in the 7th. Joey Kramer down 0-2. And he's able to see it skip in, a ball and 2 strikes. Another 0-2 pitch coming. Fouled off. Pardon me, that was 1-2. But 1-2 strike pitch fouled off by Joey Kramer. 5th pitch of the at-bat now. Swing and a miss. Alberghini, couple punch outs out of the bullpen for Seattle U. They come after Washington State bats around in the 7th. And the Cougars scored 4 runs, 11-4, the WSU lead. We head to the 8th here on Pac-12+. Carson Judd remains for Washington State up on the mound starting the 8th. Trevor Antonsen, the shortstop for Seattle U. A home run his last time up to left field, and he takes low for ball 1. Back-to-back hits now for Antonsen, who had 8 hits on the year coming in. And he takes inside half for a strike. So Antonsen, maybe the at-bat's starting to turn a corner. He hit almost 300 last year, so you knew he wasn't going to stay cold all season. 2 years prior to that, it was a career best 287, surpassed by his 294 a year ago average. Takes in the turf for ball 2, 2-2. Now 14 career home runs for Antonsen. Almost gets hit by the 2-2 pitch. Antonsen was able to just get it over the wall to the bottom left corner of the scoreboard in left center. Checks his swing here on a pitch high for ball 4, so a walk to start off the 8th for Seattle U. Each of these pitching staffs trying to get it reeled in here.
Pitching number 29.
Both teams hit around in the 7th inning, both for 4 spots. And the Cougars scored 4 with 7 hitters coming up in the 6th. So plenty of runs to go around for a game that was 3-0 Washington State after the top of the 6th. Here we are a couple innings later in a much different landscape. But the lead back up to 7 for WSU. It was 7-0 after 6. Another change for Seattle U. New hitter here is Hunter Comine. He's at the right side. He lines it back to the screen. Comine, a redshirt freshman from Mill Creek, Washington. Started his collegiate career at San Diego. The 0-1 to Comine. Fouled first base side. Brandon Stinnett, Kellen Carr were at the plate ahead of this one for Seattle U. In this 9-hole spot that Comine's now hitting in. Comine 1 hit. This is his 9th at-bat of the season. He takes up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lights on now at Bailey Brayton Field. Sun setting in eastern Washington on what was a beautiful day for baseball. Comine, a swing and a miss. Carson Judd, he got the final out in the 7th via a strikeout. He starts off with his first out of the 8th here via punch out.
Center fielder number 5, Cole Kleckner.
Couple now for Judd, who's recently coming back off of injury for WSU. Cougars need him to emerge as a left-handed option out of their bullpen. First pitch strike to Cole Kleckner at the top of the order for Seattle U. Kleckner 2 hits in each of his last 2 at-bats. Takes a second strike, maybe a bit generous on the outside half, 0-2. Judd, it looked almost closer on the outside half than the last one that was called strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Judd trying to strike out 3 of the last 4. Gets a ground ball to short, and it's off the wrist of Kyle Russell away to shallow center field. Cougars uncharacteristically on the infield, having a couple miscues here up the middle today. And it is first and second for Seattle U. Error number 2 for the Cougars. In Pac-12 play in 2 weekends, only 1 error in total, best in the conference.
Number 8, Tyler Peterson.
A pinch hitter for Seattle U, Tyler Peterson. Here in the spot of Jackson Lind. 2 on, 1 out. Peterson takes in the turf. Now a strike on the outside half. There's only 2 errors in total for the Cougars in the last 9 games. They have 2 this afternoon. A swing and a miss. Judd pumping a fastball past Tyler Peterson. Upper 80s right now for Carson Judd. Trying to pick his defense up. He might add a double play ball to the last batter that could have gotten him out of the 8th. Cresswell having to stay in front of one that bounced. 2-2. Tyler Peterson with a chance here. 17th game, 4 hits this year. Takes again, almost gets hit by the 2-2. Got to duck away from it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. First and second, 1 out. Cougars just had an error on a hard hit ground ball at short in a double play situation. We'll do it again here. 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Lind fighting hard, or Peterson, pardon me, fighting hard with Carson Judd. Up high for ball 4. Bases loaded here for Seattle U. Third a walk of the game surrendered by Washington State.
Left fielder number 17.
Bases are loaded for Sam Kane. Big opportunity here for Kane. Came in hitting .296, a team leading. Now 17 runs driven in. 2 RBI double over the left fielder Taggart last time up. Swings through an off-speed pitch to open the at-bat here. And again, Seattle U in a spot where with 1 swing of the bat here from Sam Kane, they can get right back into this game in the top of the 8th. Kane holding back on a pitch high. Kane really turned on it, muscled it over the head of Kason Taggart in left field. Last inning, part of the 4-run inning for Seattle U. Kane trying to hold back again. Did he? No, he went around, said home plate umpire Josh Marshall. On that breaking ball in the turf, a ball and 2 strikes. Carson Judd maybe should already be out of this inning if not for an error. Instead, it's bases loaded, 1 out. And hit down the right field line, bleeding along the line, just foul. Gary DeFabio all over the call. A couple for Seattle U that have not gone their way down the first and third base lines in this game here tonight. Still 1-2 for Sam Kane. But that was a big opportunity to pick up at least a couple for the Redhawks. Kane 2 for 4 in this game. Bases loaded, the pitch. Ball 2. Kane crouching down with it as it crossed in and hit right on top of the plate. Trying to deliver here, already the team leader and runs driven in. Swing and a miss on a challenge fastball. Carson Judd comes back above the letters and gets Kane to go to the top rope with him. 2 gone. Judd trying to pick his defense up and get one more here in the visitors' 8th. Jackson Reed back at the plate, left on left, and he takes for ball 1. Reed, the RBI single last inning. Took over for Matteo Zeppieri. Up high for ball 2. Seattle U, 2 walks and an error, have the bases loaded here in the 8th, and now it's 3 balls and no strikes to Jackson Reed. Carson Judd needing to find the zone. Does not want to issue the 4th Cougar walk, his 3rd of the inning, and allow a run to score via walk for Seattle U here at the bases loaded. But he does just that, high and tight, and really had trouble with the command there in that at-bat to Jackson Reed. Bases loaded walk. Reed will get the RBI. Seattle U 1 run closer now at 11-5, and it makes that next swing opportunity just that much more important for the Red Hawks. One swing of the bat, they can make it a 2-run game. Nathan Choate out of the dugout for WSU. Another right-hander for the Cougars out there. It's Ryan Orr. Carson Judd will be left in this opportunity, though. And Ryan Orr, as he sees that change, you saw him sprinting. He was, I think, run to the locker room really quick here with 2 outs. Derek Gellos at the plate. He's 1 for 4. Singled in his last at-bat. Left on left here with Judd. And the first pitch breaks low and away. Last 5 pitches have missed for Carson Judd. He's issued 3 walks here in the inning and an error. Inning should be over already, at least in terms of talking earned runs. 2 balls, no strikes on that pitch high. 6 straight have missed for Carson Judd. Derek Gellos trying to more than crack the door back open for Seattle U. Couple home runs this year and 10 runs driven in. He takes a strike. Big moment here in the top of the 8th. And it's ball 3. Jackson Reed with the walk last at bat has already driven in 2. Seattle U down 6, chance for more. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Judd coming back with that fastball. He's blown it past a couple guys. Six-run game. Seattle U not trying to let this opportunity go here with 2 outs. Payoff pitch. Chopped middle of the diamond. Kyle Russell to his left. Tough play from behind second. It's there in time. Gellos is asking for a review as Kyle Russell makes a sterling play behind second, and it puts an end to an inning that could have been much worse Seattle U scoring 1, and we presumably will go bottom of 8, as it does appear, though, that Seattle U has challenged. Seattle U has been right on the challenges so far. They had a batter hit by pitch, and then they had a safe out call at first on a double play ball that prolonged an inning. So the umpires will get together and talk here with 2 outs. It's a big call, quite obviously, because it could be out number 3, or if the runner is safe, another run is scored for Seattle U and they continue with a bases loaded opportunity. It was a very tough play behind second for Kyle Russell. And this crew will take a second look at it here with 2 outs in the top of the 8th as it stands right now. Call on the field was out at first base. If it's overturned, Cole Kleckner scores from third on the play, and it would be an infield single for Derek Gellos to drive the run in, and it would make it 11-6. Right now it's 11-5 in favor of WSU. Umpires taking a look. They've got a few camera angles there at first base that they can check in on. They've got the broadcast angles available to them as well. If this is overturned, you wonder if the Cougars would stick with Carson Judd. Jake Wagner coming up as a right-handed hitter. Here's the call. It is out. What a play by Kyle Russell behind second base. A clutch out that the Cougars needed in the top of the 8th. Kind of makes up for the error earlier in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cougars lead 11-5. Sun setting on the Palouse. Beautiful look at Bryan Hall, the clock tower on the campus of Washington State University. 11-5, the Washington State lead. What a pretty night here in Eastern Washington. Big play by Kyle Russell behind the bag at second with the bases loaded there in the top of the 8th after he had an error earlier in the inning. Jacob Morrow, same man who started off the 7th for the Cougars here, picks it up in the 8th. And he takes a pitch for a strike. It remains Caden Alberghini up on the mound for Seattle U. Morrow 0 for 4 tonight. WSU might have Ryan Orr down the stretch. We'll see if they go somewhere else out of the bullpen with a 6-run lead at the least heading to the 9th, depending on what happens here. Strike 2 called to Jacob Morrow. There's some changes for Seattle U defensively. Michael Tsoukalis is now over at first base for Ryan Hayes. The 1-2 pitch. That is swung on and missed, but it bounces away from the catcher Wagner, racing to it. Morrow to first. He's there safely ahead of the throw. Reaching on the drop, third strike. So he's on here to open up the bottom of the 8th for Washington State. It is 11-5 Cougars here in the bottom of the 8th. Will Cresswell will be up next. 0 for 3, hit by a pitch. Came to score last inning. Pitch up high to Cresswell to start him off 1-0. I think out at second base, it is Hunter Comine. Comine was a pinch hitter last inning. Ball getting away from the Seattle U catcher here. And maybe, I think it's Ryan Hayes. Yeah, he moved behind the plate from first base. So it's not Jake Wagner who was chasing down that ball that got away on the drop, third strike. Now 3 balls, no strikes to Will Cresswell. So Ryan Hayes there behind the plate. It's the question of who's in center, who's at second. We're trying to scope that out here. 3-0 pitch to Will Cresswell. Inside for ball 4. 4-pitch walk for him, and the Cougars have first and second with nobody out. A broadcaster's nightmare, right? The midweek game. Substitutions galore. Logan Johnstone will go out to run at second base for Jacob Morrow. Pinch runner here in the 8th.
Pinch running number 4, Logan Johnstone.
Cole Kramer, who has 3 hits in each of the last 2 innings, takes strike 1. Johnstone now the runner at second, a redshirt sophomore from California, transfer from Gonzaga. He's the man in scoring position. Cougars are 7 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Very effective here today. Ball skips away from Ryan Hayes away to the backstop. Up to third goes Johnstone. Cresswell to second on the wild pitch. Ball and a strike to Cole Kramer, who now has a chance to drive in a couple for the Cougs.
already with the 3 hits in this game at 3 for 4, coming off a great weekend at UCLA. A check swing, strike 2. Again, tomorrow, the second game of this midweek meeting. 2 o'clock first pitch between these two teams. Alberghini set. The 1-2 pitch. Big swing, upper half by Cole Kramer. Comes up empty. A comeback strikeout for Alberghini. It's his second of the inning. The first one resulted in a runner on a drop third strike, 1 out. 6-run lead, bottom of the 8th. Cougars looking for more. Nate Swartz. Here's the pitch. Lower outside corner, called strike 1. Swartz at short. This will score the run from third. Antonsen to first, in and out of the glove of Michael Tsoukalis. The new first baseman unable to pick that out. Logan Johnstone scores from third, reading it off the bat for a 12-5 Washington State lead. Second error for Seattle U. Be a throwing error E6 on Trevor Antonsen. Up to second went Will Cresswell stayed at second, pardon me, on the ground ball left side. And new hitter for the Cougars is Jack Weiss. First pitch swinging, he lifts it out of play, first base side. Wise is junior from Reno, Nevada. Sierra College transfer. Fouls back the 0-1. Battling now 0-2. Swing and a miss. Struck out on the outside half, 2 gone for Washington State.
Right fielder number 23, Max Hartman.
Caden Alberghini working now. 5 strikeouts in relief for him. Back to the top of the order, Max Hartman, but it'll be a change. Because of that good work, Donnie Harrell will go and get him. Bottom of inning number 8, 12-5, Washington State leading. They'll save some pitches on the arm for Alberghini. 7-run Cougar lead. We're back with a new pitcher after this. Ethan Brown taking over for Seattle U. 9-run ERA, 5th appearance, 3 innings, 3 runs, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts for the left-hander out of Phoenix. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th, left on left with Max Hartman. Kind of a hitch in the delivery. Ball and no strikes. 17 Cougar hits. They lead 12-5 here in the 8th. Inside, that hit the right arm of Hartman. Not much different than earlier where they called Hartman out for leaning out over it. But I digress.
Shortstop, number 1.
Will Cresswell to third, Nate Swartz to second. Bases loaded for Kyle Russell against the lefty Ethan Brown. Motion's not very smooth. Looks a little different from Ethan Brown. And now he's up high for ball 2. What can Kyle Russell deliver for the Cougars? 4 hits in this game today. He's been at the plate each of the last 4 innings. 4 runs driven in. Or 3 runs driven in. 4. Keeping tabs on it. A fly ball into right field. This is skied way up there for Kane. And Kane losing it a little bit. His second baseman bailing him out. Peterson with a diving catch. And that ends the 8th inning. Adventurous to say the least here in the bottom of the 8th. Seattle U moves it to the 9th. WSU leads by 7, 12-5 here on Pac-12 Plus. Going to the 9th, first of 2 here in the midweek between Washington State and Seattle U. It's a 12-5 lead for WSU. Ryan Orr takes over for the Cougars. 1.59 ERA in 5 2/3 innings. Start of the year a little banged up. He's getting into shape for the Cougs. Michael Tsoukalis here, who was a defensive replacement last half inning. The spot of the catcher, Jake Wagner. Now he's behind 0-2. Ryan Hayes, who moved to catcher, is on deck for Seattle U, needing a huge inning here in the 9th to come back. Up and away there from Orr, 1-2. Ryan Orr expected to be a reliable piece out of this Cougar bullpen. Swing and a miss. A strikeout right away out of the bullpen for Ryan Orr.
The catcher, number 12.
The sophomore from Tumwater. With Ryan Hayes coming up now. Cougs trying to deliver the win for Liam Miller. Or an inning and a third against UCLA on Sunday. This is fouled off at the plate. In that inning and a third, 1 walk. But no hits, no runs. Ryan Hayes 0 for 2. Right on right the matchup here. A check swing. Hayes doesn't go around, 1-1. Defensively for the Cougars, Jack Wise over at third base. Cole Kramer has moved to second. A fly ball to left field. Gets up there in the lights for Kaysen Taggart, having to stick with it. And makes the catch for out number 2. Seattle U down to its final out today. WSU trying to win its 4th at home this year and get to 11-8. Game 2 of this 2-game midweek set is on the air at 2 o'clock tomorrow here from Bailey Brayton Field. Trevor Antonsen. Couple of hits, home run, takes strike 1. All 5 runs for Seattle U come in the last 2 innings. Now 1-1 to Antonsen. Stands for Liam Miller. It'll be his first decision at Washington State. 2-1 now to Antonsen. Now ball 3. Ryan Orr trying to cap this one off. 1-2-3 in the 9th. He's going to have to come from behind. 3-1 the count. And there's strike 2. Orr and the Cougars have Seattle U down to their final strike. A game that was 3-0 after the top of the 6th. Lots of runs late. But WSU has led pretty much wire to wire. The payoff pitch skips for ball 4. Walks and back-to-back at-bats for Trevor Antonsen. And this is not a good sign. Nathan Choate out of the dugout. Jace Puckett, the guy you don't want to see coming out of the dugout, the athletic trainer for Washington State. And remember, Ryan Orr had been battling, I think, some issues earlier in this season, and Jace Puckett wants to take a look. He's going to watch a couple pitches. Yeah, Orr pitched February 17th and 23rd, and then not again until March 9th. Then he was used last week for 2 1/3 innings down in Southern California. Luckily, it looks to be that it was just precautionary from the staff. He had been pitching so well that when he lost his command there a little bit to Antonsen, they just wanted to take a look and make sure he was all right. And I think he said, hey, I'm fine. That's good news for the Cougars. You wouldn't want to see anything happen to Ryan Orr here in this 9th inning. And he gets a ground ball promptly at short. Russell flips it to Cole Kramer at second. And that does it here for game 1 in the midweek against Seattle U. WSU jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning, and then they expanded it with some big innings late. 2-home run game for Kason Taggart, and the first decision in the Cougar career for Liam Miller, who emerges as the winning pitcher here in 1 of 2 against Seattle U. Cougs win it 12-5. We're back with Game 2 of the series tomorrow. Again, the broadcast at 2 o'clock, first pitch at 2:05. For our entire Pac-12 Plus crew, this is Trevor Williams saying so long from Bailey Brayton Field, where the Cougs win it 12-5.